That's a good question.
I don't know.
I'm ignorant to that one.
How do you make a hormone? You don't pay her. Okay, I just had to throw it in. Okay. You guys got a good sense of humor. Okay.
That'll definitely make a hormone.
Women often describe themselves as complicated, emotional, even crazy. Do you think women actually want to be understood?
You know what? To be honest, a woman don't even understand herself, because think about it. She can't control her emotions, especially when she's maybe on her cycle or dealing with the hormones, having kids. So I believe a woman really don't know themselves. So that's why it's so hard, and women get so frustrated for a man trying to figure out who they are, because they really don't know who they are.
Well, wouldn't that hold them to a standard?
It should hold them to a standard.
Like, in other words, if women were understood, wouldn't that hold like all women to a standard?
Yes, but I still feel like we're all different in like many ways. Like I can be crazy and she can be crazy, but we're different crazy.
Okay. If all women are so different, why do we have the expression know how to treat a woman? Wouldn't that imply that there's like a universal nature that all women exhibit?
Wow. Yes. Yeah. That's kind of fucked up.
Why are there some women on their periods capable of acting cool and calm at work, yet behave irritable at home around her loved ones?
Well, that's
one good way that you can help build urgency in the sale is asking what are called consequence questions. Now that's called an NEPQ.
Boy, don't nobody know.
So consequence questions help you.
It's kind of a tough question because like you have to act nice and like professional in the workplace, or
so you can't be nice at home with your loving people that you love, your man and your kids, your husband and kids, whatever you got going on. You can't act nice there, but you got to be a fucking asshole at work. Oh, my bad. At home.
or else you're labeled as a bitch. So then once you get home and you can kind of put down that wall.
But doesn't that prove that women are capable of controlling their emotions?
Yeah, but when you're at home in your own thing, like it should be whatever.
Even around the people that you love, that you should be nice to and respect?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all love. You guys can come back together.
Why is it considered rude to ask a woman her age or her weight?
Oh, it's just something you just don't ask a woman.
But what's the reason?
I think it has a lot to do with women don't like to feel old or look old or care about their age at a certain point. So they'd rather not be asked any questions.
Why do women tend to obsess over these issues, and what does that say about her deeper sense of self-worth?
What do you mean?
Well, you want to just ask it again? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do a lot of women tend to obsess over issues like their age or their weight, and what does that say about her deeper sense of self-worth?
Good question. I think it has just a lot to do about like who they are and what they stand by, honestly.
Well, why do you think that there are a lot of women who tend to obsess over these issues, and what does that say about her deeper sense of self-worth?
I don't obsess over that shit, so I don't fucking care.
I'm not saying you do, but I mean, would you recognize that far too many women obsess over that?
I think that is completely because of men, and the only way to fix that is to eradicate all men.
Okay. Okay. By the way, are you attracted to men or?
Yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, do you think that that mindset might make it hard to find a relationship?
Well, we're both in long-term relationships, so.
What? Ain't that a motherfucking bitch? Eradicate all men, but y'all in relationships and you're attracted to men. What the fuck would you be doing if you eradicate all men?
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
Because I feel like men do worse things. Women are sneaky, so like you hear about very one-off things, but men, they get caught a lot more, and it's more general things, and it happens more common. So
should anybody be hating anybody?
No, it's not cool. It's like
So why don't you think more women aren't called out on that behavior?
Because then you get called like a woman hater and stuff like that. Then they change the narrative. So.
Women often talk about being underrepresented in male-dominated fields because historically they weren't allowed or encouraged to. So on the flip side, why are men underrepresented in female-dominated fields like nursing, teaching, and modeling?
Okay, so with that firsthand, right? Because I know about this firsthand. Being a nurse, a guy being a nurse, we're teased, we're talked about like, hey, that's supposed to be a woman's job. When actually it can be anybody's job, but society put the stigma on what a nurse should be and who should be a nurse.
Did they really? Or everybody had a choice? Because the women can come over into the male workplace and the man can come into the female workplace. Everybody made their own choice. So whose fault is it?
Would men not be equally oppressed, to not be encouraged to go into those fields?
Maybe 10 years ago, but now male are going into those fields. They're going to be RNs, LVNs, and nurses and stuff. So I think times has changed.
I feel like men aren't encouraged by other men to go into those fields. I don't think if you have a male nurse, that male nurse is surrounded by women, and rather than the men being like, oh my gosh, girls all day, it's more as, oh my God, you're a nurse.
Well, what about modeling and like cosmetics and things like that?
No, because it's the same thing. The man going into the women environment, right? But let's think about it. What you think is coming from single mother homes, as in they like, what kind of man y'all raising? So now they going into what the women do. I'm just saying, y'all do the math on how it work, but just peep game. And then the man gonna do man's job regardless because it's a man, but the woman still ain't gonna go over there, even if she butch. Yeah, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all will see.
I mean, why isn't the same narrative true for both genders?
Because for far as modeling, the total has changed because there's a lot of guys that's modeling now. Makeup wise, maybe because society, it was something that was meant to beautify women in a sense and not to beautify men. But now that we are in this free society, it's like it's fair game to everyone because you got men wearing makeup too.
I think because men are I think they're more embarrassed to go into a field that's like predominantly women. And I think that they feel like they're going to be judged, which.
Well, don't you think that women are embarrassed to go into male-dominated fields because they're going to be judged?
Yeah, but.
So isn't that the same for both genders?
Yes. I mean,
really, we live in a world where you can't win no
Pass the mic. Oh yeah, he caught you. No. No. All right, you say something.
matter what you do, almost, because it just seems like no matter what you do, somebody's gonna say something, whether you're male, female, or whatever. Like it honestly comes down to no matter what you do, somebody's gonna say something about something. So
why do you?
Ain't that just life? Whatever you do, somebody gonna say something. It might not be something that you like, but somebody gonna say something, good or bad.
Women are more concerned about the ratio of male to female CEOs as opposed to the ratio of lower paid, dangerous, dirty jobs done mostly by men.
Wow. Yeah, these are some
hard questions.
So
Are they hard?
yikes.
Yikes.
I don't want to be a trash woman. I don't want to do that.
Oh.
Why is it that if a man rejects a woman for dating, it's considered preference?
okay,
But if a man rejects a woman for employment, it's considered sexism?
I guess it depends on how they go about it.
I think they're two very different situations and that they shouldn't be put in the same.
Well, it's put in the same category, okay? You reject the man for preference, and then a worker man rejects the woman for preference for the job. She can't complete the skill. That's why he didn't pick her. It's a preference. What's the difference?
Same category, but if a man rejects you they don't want to date you,
They don't want to date you.
that's their preference, like you said, like that's fine.
Well, in other words, why should somebody be forced to hire somebody if they aren't forced to date somebody?
Well, I think it all depends on qualification. Like if someone's not qualified for the job, it doesn't matter, male, female, But if they're hiring someone who's less qualified than you and they're male, then that's the problem. It's not if they're not hiring you because you're not as qualified as a man, then I don't think that should be considered sexist.
Who do the majority of women prefer to have as a boss, a male or a female?
A female, because men always just think they're entitled, and that I feel like women are strong, beautiful creatures that can run businesses better than men at some points.
And I'm the opposite. I'm gonna go and say I prefer having male bosses. I think women are very competitive. I believe that, women bosses, they'll try to kind of dumb people down so they stay on top. Whereas men just they're already there. They know where they are.
Okay. All right. When women go on a date with a man, who do they prefer make the majority of the leading decisions during that date?
The man.
The man, definitely. Definitely.
If you ask me on the date, you should
have that shit planned out.
Yeah.
Tell me you're going to pick me up at 7. Don't ask me what I want to do. Tell me what you want to do.
Yeah.
So in a society where the majority of women prefer to have a man in a leadership role and make most of the decisions, is it any wonder why most leadership roles are held by men?
Definitely a wonder. I honestly think that's kind of like a gender role thing too. I feel like that's been a huge thing. Men get places a little bit easier than women. So when women get there, they work harder to stay.
But I mean, is it fair to say that maybe a lot of reasons why, men are kind of in leadership roles is because women want it that way? So do they have the right to complain about it if that's their preference?
Probably not.
I feel like if it's their preference, they're not going to complain though.
But it is but I mean, once again, aren't we establishing that it is their preference?
Right.
But they're still complaining. So my question is, how do you reconcile the differences there? You know what I mean?
Wow. All types of different people. That's a good question.
Why do women often attack a man's masculinity when they don't get what they want?
Because that's the trick of old time, right? If you break a man down, then you have the key to controlling him. So it's easy for a woman to try to break a man down to make him feel like he's nothing, so she can even feel powerful. And that becomes just a keynote. That also becomes a sexist thing because a lot of women feel like they need to be empowered. So if they're degrading a man to make them feel more empowered, that's a whole nother situation too.
Do you think women are more interested in love or power?
Power.
Why?
I think because if you control the power, you can control your love.
Me personally, love. Absolutely love. I don't really. I'm okay with being a little lower if I'm respected and loved.
Okay. Are men more likely to use power to get sex, or are women more likely to use sex to get power?
Ooh.
Culture. Come on. What you got? Let's see.
I feel like it goes both ways.
I'm gonna vote the men one. I think men use power to get sex.
Okay,
it's
but
all an ego.
I think, would you acknowledge that it kind of goes both ways, though?
Absolutely, 100%.
If all the men in the world were gay, how would women get power?
Fuck each other.
Okay,
so you turn the women gay, right? So that's how y'all gonna get power, by banging clicks. Okay.
Since men aren't all gay, where do women actually get their power from?
Other women.
Okay. But if women use sex to get power, can we admit that many women get their power by manipulating straight men?
Manipulation. That's what y'all always like to put on the man, manipulation. Ain't that the same thing?
Manipulating.